Incognitohazard 1. Dreamscape Fever. December 1st, 2076. There was a man who saw an advertisement for a drug that lets you remember your dreams in full detail. Curious, he ordered it and waited for its arrival. He eventually got his hands on the package, opened the bottle, and poured a capsule into his hand. Inside was a mix of tiny white grains and glowing blue crystals. Without reading the warning label, he downed the pill with some water and went to lay down on his bed. The bottle had another label on the back of it. He thought he saw it say something about rules and objectives, and that you might not wake up. Before he could rethink his choices, sleep took over. His surroundings faded into view. A black and white checkered floor with various geometric figures laying around and comprising the walls and a roof that of a circus tent. It didn't feel like a dream. It felt as if he were really conscious and there. Now this is a breath of fresh air, folks. He assumed he was lucid dreaming and could also do anything and anyone he wanted. He snapped his fingers, but nothing happened. Again and again and again. On the fourth try, a strange person appeared. Limbs made of piano keys and music symbols everywhere. An ever-changing tune played in his wake. Who are you? I didn't make you. Oh, it appears we have a dreamer. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Dexter the Remgeist. Wait, you can see me and remember me right as you are right now? Yeah? Then you must be lucid dreaming. That means you can do anything I can. Oh, this is gonna be the best. I thought I was lucid dreaming, but I can't do anything. You're trolling, right? Right? You're not lucid dreaming? You can't summon something? Nope. You can't teleport? I wish. You can't even fly? What if I could? And why do you look like that? Look like what? He tried to summon a mirror but failed. Oh, can you make me a mirror? Here you go. The tiniest shard of silvered glass fell into his hand. No, I mean, can it be bigger? Another appeared as a new wall. No, can I be this big? He put a length with his hands. More mirrors appeared in the shape of the word this. Do you have to take everything literally? I was just messing with you. Here. A normal-sized mirror formed. There, staring back at him, was a generic gray body with his face replaced with a blue error message that said, I'm sorry, the face and/or name you are looking for no longer exists. Face or name? What is my name? Wait, what? What's my name? What do I look like? Oh my God, I'm gonna lose it. You're here and part of my mind. What's my name? You expect me to know? It's not like every memory you've ever made up until this point is gonna just fall out of the sky. A small notebook fell into his hand. He opened it and read it. Oh, it appears you're not going to wake up until you find out your name. Wait, if you're not choosing what happens, who is? I don't know. It might be my subconscious? You know what? You're absolutely right. It says, in order to wake up, defeat all 9 figments and you will be granted your memories. This will give you the abilities associated with lucid dreaming. What did that have to do with my subconscious? Also figments? What are figments? Hello? Oh, nothing. I just wanted to say that. So is it that, or is it you? I'm starting to think both. Both what? You know I can't deal with these oversaturated colors. It's hurting my treble clef. Change of scenery. He clapped twice and they were moved to the top of a very tall and wide concrete pillar. The ground was nowhere to be seen. There were extreme winds that were pushing him off the edge. Dexter, a little help would be nice right about now. The wind pushed him off, causing himself to cartwheel backward all the way down. The spinning of him in the air transitioned to the spinning of a laundry dryer. He shrank down and went inside the thing. There were a plethora of motherboards, electrical wires, and lint. A lint piece flew into his face. He wiped it off and saw that he was now in a vacant house. He looked around for a bit. He opened the door to his left and found another empty room. He went inside and the door closed behind him. He turned around and the door was gone. It was replaced with a solid wall. We went to the other side of the room and found that it looped around to the other side. He went around and the door was there again. Assuming the way around was still there, he went into that room again to see if there was anything else. The door closed behind him again, But when he checked the other way around, it was also replaced with a wall. What was that about needing help? It was the voice of Dexter, but when he turned to look, there was no one there. He did see a vent in the wall. He ripped it out with ease and started crawling through. He didn't know if it was just him, but it felt like it was shrinking as he crawled further. Then it started to fill with water. He held his breath and closed his eyes. He swam up. He reached the surface. He found himself in a small pool with no edge, tiled walls, a single light on the ceiling. One sad slide coming out of the wall without an entrance, and a seemingly infinitely deep floor. He tried to climb up the slide to find a way out, but water was flowing through it, making it almost impossible. He almost got to the top and saw a light and something yellow, but slipped and slid back down. He hit the wall after he shot out and fell because there was no more water. He fell onto the softest cushion inside of an empty mall. He got off the cushion and explored the mall. He came across a sign that said Valley View Center and another that said something about Dallas, Texas. He looked to the right and saw a glass double door that led outside. He tried to open it, but it was locked. He punched the glass and it shattered into pieces. Even the door frame was displaced. He stepped out, being careful not to touch the sharp glass. He was now in a grassy field, not a cloud in the sky. Despite it being bright out, the sun wasn't present either. Out in the distance, not too far, there was a slot machine. He came up to it. The title read, "Your Name Here," and it had an arrow pointing to the slots. The slots were spinning indefinitely. He hesitated for a moment. He pressed the button and they all stopped making an interesting word. INNOMINT, Intimate. A trapdoor opened from below his feet. He fell into a strange room. He managed to stick the landing, however. So, Intimate, which one of these ladies should we send to the scooper? It was Dexter. Dexter, where am I? You're in the scooping room. Do you know why we call it the scooping room? You? It's because, silly, this is the room where we use the scooper. I thought that would be obvious. What are we doing here? You're choosing one of these ladies to scoop, of course. He gestured toward another room, separated by glass with mannequins inside. They were wearing differently colored wigs. You want me to pick one? Mm-hmm. Intimate walked on over to the glass to examine them. It's a hard choice between blue, green, brown, and pink. They all look okay. Dexter came up to the glass as well. Personally, I'd pick pink. Pink's my favorite color, it being closest to white and all. Wouldn't white be your favorite color then? Well, no, there's no white-haired lady. Why do you keep calling them ladies? They're clearly just mannequins. Is that how you see them? Yes, I picked the blue one. Dexter gasped. I do not see the world that way. Why would you judge a woman based on the color of her hair? What are you, some kind of racist? No. The scooper activated, slamming him into the ceiling. He hit the ground and saw that he was no longer in the scooping room. It was dark. The only thing visible was an exit door. He got up and walked over. He opened it to reveal a long and very tall but also very narrow hallway. He tried to run to the other side, but no matter how fast or long he ran, he never reached the end. He planted his feet on each side and scaled the wall upward. That too stretched indefinitely. He stepped back on the ground. He needed to think outside the box. What was something that could only happen in a dream? Intimate reached both hands out and grabbed the door at the end of the hall, placed it in front of him, and stepped on through. He found himself in a movie theater. He walked down the hall that led to each of the screens. He went into screen 12. The screen displayed a pair of eyes that followed him where he went in the room. The audio was a song called Childishly Fresh Eyes that played on loop for eternity. He saw an exit door and walked down to go outside. There was asphalt for miles. A singular hot tub-sized pool was sitting in front of him in the ground. He stepped in. The water didn't have a temperature. He noticed that there was a spacecraft way out in the distance. It started liftoff. For some reason, the force was so strong that it pulled him out of the water and flying up in the air like a leaf. He slammed into the roof of an office-looking place. It had a red carpet, a blue chair, and an infinite length. It seemed to bend downwards, but when he walked over, it straightened out. He eventually came across the end. It was a missing wall that led outside. It was a hill with stairs going all the way to the top. He walked up the steps. When he got to the top, he turned around to see a narrow bridge, and the ground was now an endless gradient. He went on it to check it out. Soon a gigantic structure formed. How do I describe it? Whatever. I'll just put a depiction as a teaser photo. He stepped up on a pedestal that overlooked the gradient void. He discovered an arch that acted like a portal. On the other side was a pool-like area. There was another staircase that had light coming from it. He slowly pool-walked through and up the stairs. The room was bright, but Intimate couldn't find a light source. He could see a gap in the floor. On the other side was an empty store. He jumped out of the light and over to one of the shelves close by. He grabbed a water bottle from one of the shelves. Since he couldn't summon anything for himself, the store was pretty convenient. The further he went to the back of the store, the more it turned into a forest. He climbed up a tree to see up high. It turned out that he was at the edge of the forest. It led to a similar field to the one earlier. He climbed down and went in that direction. He reached the field and saw many rows of houses. They were all exactly identical, with yellow sides, blue doors, and pink roofs. He reached one of them. He tried to open the door, but the entire house just sank down into the ground. He tried the same on another one, but it folded on the fourth axis and completely vanished. He tried another house, and it actually opened. It was a library inside. Intimate had made the mistake of thinking it would follow the rules of a house. He looked at a shelf with some books. Their covers had actual gibberish on them like, Rebiok in you Youthwick when Dame Yesent is faced with a challing, and the insides were blank. He opened many books, trying to see if there was one he could read, but there never was one. Then he heard a familiar tune coming from the upper floor. He climbed the stairs to see Dexter reading a book. Somehow, he looked up and saw Intimate. Oh, Intimate, you sad red joystick. I think you just need to jump out of that window. Huh? Why? This whole thing has just been a big fever dream. Can't I just rest? No. I mean, just jump out. Please. Fine. It's not like I'm gonna die or anything. He turned around to see that the stairs were replaced with an Intimate-sized window. He got a running start. He jumped but didn't feel the impact. He actually landed on something relatively soft. The ground was a vibrant red. He walked around a bit. While not paying attention, he tripped on a pointy cone. Thing. He touched the thing again, and the whole sky went dark. It looked like a mouth closing. Then a light turned on. Then another did. Then another. Then another. And then thousands more. They lined up to make a corridor. He followed where they led. He started to get mesmerized by their glimmer. He once again wasn't paying attention to where he was going and fell into a hole. He could see something metal below him. The moment he knew what it was too late. He fell into the giant bear trap. It snapped shut, and Intimate woke up in a cold sweat. Dexter was right there at the foot of his bed. Wait, I'm still dreaming. Of course you are. But I just woke up from a different dream. You can sleep in your dreams. It says it right here. He pointed to a spot on his notebook, but all Intimate saw was a mannequin posed in a weird way. What is this? Inception? What's that? Never heard of it. It's... Never mind. How did I end up sleeping here? You just passed out on the floor out there. So I just brought you here. 2. Compound Iris. The circus tent thing was a sort of hub area for Intimate to rest before entering a different place to defeat Figment. Figment 01, the Compound Iris. You traverse its sewer, looking for the magnifying orb and the light orb. May God save you if you see it wandering around nearby, because it sure saw you. I guess you're supposed to blind it with the 2 orbs, or set the sewer ablaze? It's very unclear. So you just send me there? Not just anywhere. I have to say this incantation. I guess I'm ready when you are. Numquam te deseret. Numquam te deceptorus sum. Nuquam circumcuraturus. Et. Deserum te. He was teleported to a sewer with no water in it. It did not take long for him to round a corner and see the magnifying orb. He ran over and grabbed it. He hadn't even encountered the Figment yet, and he was already halfway done. He looked around for a bit and eventually realized that the Figment wasn't even in there with him. Dexter forgot to put it in there. He found the light orb after about an hour of real time. He turned around to see it almost right in front of him. He smashed the two orbs together, and they merged into another orb that sent a blinding light. All of its eyes started popping out and falling. It also looked like its skin was burning from it. It did not make a single noise. It cowered away in fear, and a door opened behind Intimate to let him back into the hub. 3. False gaze. Now? Of course now. You want to wake up, right? Fine. Read your Incognitohazard book. My rule book isn't the Incognitohazard your real name is. Intimate is just the pseudonym you gave yourself. Book, name, same difference. Figment 02, the false gaze, hastily walked down the dark street. Do not follow her gaze into the night sky. Why? Who? It doesn't specify. I told you it's very vague. Whatever, just send me there. He was sent to a dark street with a light, a tree, and a sidewalk. Everything else was pitch black. He began walking forward. The road grew darker as the light was passed. Then another flickered on. Standing under it was a lady looking up into the night sky. A chill ran down Intimate's spine. The vibe she was giving was ever so slightly uncomfortable. Intimate wanted desperately to look at what she was, but remembered Dexter's words. He just kept walking and walking and speed walking and running. The road seemed to stretch indefinitely. Those stupid props kept showing up in the same stupid pattern. Tree, light, light with lady, tree, light, light with lady. It never stops. His feet started hurting, and his heart was beating out of his chest. He couldn't handle it anymore. Intimate stopped dead in his tracks. The same lady under the street light to his right. He looked at her, and saw she was looking at the moon. That wasn't there before. In fact, when did the sky look so beautiful? It was like he could see the whole Milky Way galaxy. Some of the stars came together to form a word. Gullible. It says gullible on the ceiling, or the sky. He heard a sudden loud chirping, like that of an insect. Intimate snapped out of his daze and looked back at the lady. She was never looking up. She was always staring directly at Intimate. Two glowing orange eyes with pupils like that of a goat. Its legs stretched out, revealing that its body was much thinner and that it no longer resembled a human. It chirped again and then sprinted at him faster than he could react. It stabbed him in the stomach, and he was brought back to the hub. No, 4. The sentiment. Why are you letting me pass? I died, or failed? Lost? Normally I'm supposed to make you redo it, but I've got other dreamers to get on to, so we'll gloss over that one. Just don't fail on purpose. So what's this next figment? Figment 03, the sentiment. High five it before it sees you. Oh God, the mittens. Doesn't sound terrible. Catch you on the flip side, I guess. Intimate was teleported to an orange-walled maze in the carpet in unsaturated yellow as if it had been bleached by the sun. He wandered around for what felt like hours. He came across a corner with a mitten poking out from behind it. It was swaying up and down. He walked up and high-fived it, like Dexter said. It melted into a black liquid and burned a centipede-shaped hole in the ground. Intimate found himself once again in the hub, the early birthday. Figment 04, the early Demisa birthday. It says birthday. It will try to ice all over you. Collect the batteries to turn on the fan. Don't taste the icing or you will involuntarily climb into its mouth. What? Is it a cake? This one doesn't have a picture like the other ones did. What does the fan even do? I don't know. The stuff that I actually read out is the stuff that's not gibberish. Do you want me to attempt the rest? Urboikalaleleb, yakuin tiksop, nosangad, jamio sa wikalalala, p, motskadevex, nakashio, looping tefafi and makursoto. Okay, I get it. It's illegible. Let's just get it over with. He was brought to a dark room. A gigantic table was in front of him. On top was a cake with pink icing and a single red and white striped candle. It just sat there, doing nothing. Something stopped the thing from springing to life. It sat on a plate as any normal cake would. With no actual stakes involved, Intimate walked around collecting the 6 batteries. He placed them in this inverter box connected to the fan. It blew the candle out. He was then brought back to the hub. 6. The weeping figure. Figment-05, the weeping figure. Find the water before it bends your joints the wrong way. It hates water and hates being stared at. No way this isn't gonna be difficult. I beg to differ. All you have to do is look at it, and you should be good. Maybe. Intimate teleported to a dirty padded corridor. There were doors on either side all the way down. At the end was another mannequin. However, this time it was a pale blue color and had blood covering its lower half. Its head spun 360 degrees, revealing that it had eyes on the back of it. He cautiously stepped forward. He turned to look at the door to his right for 13 picoseconds. This thing was so fast that from Intimate's point of view, he just teleported back to the hub. That was not your fault. They made that thing way too fast. I'm sorry about that. LO7, the red reptile. Figment-06, the red reptile. It loves pets. Do so until it falls asleep. Do not look into the fire. How big is it? Your biggest concern here is the fire. If it's docile, then yes. And away with you. Intimate found himself surrounded by fire. The creature was right next to him. Its mouth splits open in 3 ways. He put his hand on the back of its head. It lay down. Intimate pet it with long strokes down its back. Despite it looking like they were in hell, it became clear that there was no real threat. It put its head down on the ground, and it fell asleep. Dexter brought him back to the hub for the 6th time. 8. Bella the Spirit. Figment-07, Bella the Spirit. 2 calm ones in a row. Do what she asks and you're good to go. Difficulty level baby? That's the easiest one yet. No threats. What do you mean difficulty level? You didn't say that with any of the other ones. I just noticed it when you were putting the lizard to sleep. What are the other levels? One of them says fucking run, so probably not good. Just send me to the 7th one. See you on the other side. Intimate was now brought to a cemetery at nighttime. It was a full moon. He then saw a blue orb floating around. He got closer and saw that it was bell-shaped. She spotted him and flew over. Hiya, you. Can you help me find my gravestone? Oh yeah. What's it look like? It's cross-shaped and has white roses around it. Do you know the epitaph? No. Do you know your name? All I know is my last name. Normandy. That's a start. I'll go look. Since Dexter called her Bella, Intimate put 2 and 2 together and concluded that her full name would be Normandy Bella. He went to an area with an abundance of cross graves. He stumbled upon the one that was definitively hers. Hey, do you think this one's yours? Did I mention mine was made of wood? Wood? Yes. The one wood cross grave with white roses around it on that hill? He pointed to the hill with the lone grave marker. Oh. She quietly flew over to it without another word, and Intimate finished the level. 9. The Arcader. Figment-08, the Arcader. The second to last one. You're almost there. Please don't pull the plug. He's so close to beating the GGY kid who keeps topping the highest scores. I think you should pull the plug. Oh, I think so too. Intimate appeared in a dark carpeted room. Standing at an arcade was a gain stick man. They were so massive that they could trigger megalophobia. Generic 8-bit video game sounds were coming from the arcade machine. Intimate wasted no time. He booked it to the outlet and unplugged the arcade. The room went dark because the only light source was the arcade. Then Intimate was teleported back to the hub. 10. Alan. The storyteller got a little lazy with this one. It's a walking simulator. He did make it to the door. Thanks for listening. Here's the lore-dropping bit. Ranks 11. Dreamscape Fever continued. Congratulations! You've defeated all 9 figments. Intimate, or should I call you? He flipped the page in his notebook. Where's the name? It's supposed to be here. I don't know your real name. The good news is that you will wake up eventually, and obviously your memories will come back when that happens. You just have to finish the night in real time, I guess. If you try and think hard enough, you might be able to influence what you dream about from this point on. So, I've got to go. My work here is done. It was nice dreaming with you. Catch you on the flip side. Intimate. Dexter disappeared with a puff of smoke. It was all of a sudden very quiet. The background piano had been a nice addition to the ambiance of the hub. With Dexter gone, it felt empty. He looked to his right and noticed something he hadn't seen before. It was a 10-foot dark-stained wooden double door. He went to check it out. He grabbed the handle and opened it, revealing the outside of the hub. Concrete ground that stretched out for miles, and a night sky with 2 moons. He manipulated the ground into the shape of a car, and it seemed to morph into a real one. He hopped inside and began driving forward to see what would happen. The ground below him became an actual road. Trees appeared on the sides of the road, becoming a forest. The second moon in the sky broke into pieces that fell and became stars. He drove for a few minutes before coming across a sign on the side of the road that read, "Indefinite bar. You think it, we fabricate it. It doesn't even have to be drinks." Intrigued, Inamit pulled into the parking lot and got out. He went inside, and the first thing he saw was a couch with 5 mannequins sitting on it playing video games on the TV in front of them. This isn't a bar, he thought to himself. He walked over and sat at the counter on one of the bar stools. The guy behind it looked different. He wasn't mannequin like every other person. He looked like a real species. He just couldn't put his finger on it, though. He looked around and saw 2 mannequins on either side of a table playing pickup sticks, while a third one held guns to either of their heads. By the looks of their faces, they weren't having a good time. "Can I help you?" said the bartender. Inamit turned back around. "Oh yeah, I'll have a..." Inamit noticed a strange machine on the counter in the back. It was like a box with 3 blue rods, a screen, and a button panel. "A rum and coke, but make it Diet Coke." "You sure?" Inamit just nodded. "Okay." He went to the machine in the back, pressed a couple buttons, and the thing started 3 days printing a glass with Inamit's drink. He took it out of the machine and brought it to him. "Believe it or not, this isn't the weirdest thing someone's asked for. I had someone come in here and ask for urine mixed with gasoline." "Really?" "Mm-hmm." Inamit took a sip of his drink. It was actually cold, despite looking like it was being blasted with lasers in there. Another mannequin came and sat down 1 seat away from Inamit. "I'll have a glass of Zoldy blood, but with a squiggly straw." He then smashed his face into the counter. "I'll see what I can do." He leaned close to Inamit. "See what I mean?" He went back to fabricating the guy's drink. He put a cup with a glowing blue liquid next to him. He didn't react. He came back to Inamit. "Can I let you in on a little secret?" "Sure. I know you're dreaming," he whispered. Inamit almost choked. "Excuse me? I know that you are in a dream. Trust me when I tell you. Never, and I can't stress this enough, never, ever tell anyone else that you know. It never ends well for the dreamer. What happens if you do? You don't want to know. How'd you know that I was the dreamer? Look at everybody else, then look at you." "Fair enough. Speaking of you, what are you? I've seen some fake dream bodies, but none as weird yours. You want me to explain my whole story?" "Yes, please. The first thing I remember is taking a pill that lets you remember your dreams. I'm not going to get into too much detail as for what I dreamed up until now. I couldn't remember anything from my real life. I still can't. At first I thought I was lucid dreaming, but I quickly found out I wasn't. Then this guy appeared. He called himself Dexter, the Remgeist. He basically said I wasn't going to wake up or get my memories unless I defeated 9 figments. I still don't know too much what that meant. He sent me to 9 little mini-games, you could call it. I eventually beat them all. He just disappeared, having told me that I would wake up eventually, and that I just have to wait in real time. Then I came here. You know the rest. I have a theory on why all the people here are just blank mannequins. I can't say for sure what species you are, but I know that most people's brains can't make up new faces. Any people someone sees in their dreams are people they have seen before. Because you have no memories of anyone or yourself from your real life, your brain makes up for it with blank mannequins. That also explains why your face is an error message. That makes a lot of sense, actually. You know I didn't catch your name. Oh, my name is Rep Dimov. What's your story? Good question. I lived a mostly normal life on a planet called Borealis. I've heard of that. I wasn't stripped of all my knowledge. I guess not, huh? In my teenage years, my parents were abducted by some space pirates. I don't really know too much about who they were. All I know is that they got a hold of some delirium and planned on using it. I was old enough by then to fend for myself. Fast forward a couple of years. My best friend, a Lazat named Siren, had sacrificed himself to kill the Alpha Night Mist. It was a horrific creature. The next year, I was approached by someone named Atlas. He looked like a wolf at first, but I quickly realized that he was a worksrough from a planet called Nexus. We did this whole time travel mess in order for the conditions to be just right for the eight of us to band together and defeat the Divine. We did win. Me, Nori Sexeth, and Siren Lazat drank of the Ichor and became immortal. The war was later dubbed the War of Divine Madness. 1 year later, I was in the devoid space when I saw a dream bubble. It had been a long time since I had entered someone's dream, so I took the opportunity. Here I am. Inomit was speechless. He was talking to the Enovid Raptimov. You're the Enovid Raptimov? Please don't get all formal with me. I'm not that guy. Oh yeah, it's totally an everyday thing to meet a god in your dreams. It happens all the time, he said sarcastically. Okay. Anyway, it's about time for me to go. I've got a third of the universe to moderate. Have fun. He formed a door, walked through it, and it disappeared. Inomit finished his drink and walked to the exit door. He opened the door to find that the outside was replaced with a jungle. He wandered around for a bit. He heard a weird bird chirping and got distracted. He wasn't looking where he was going and fell into a hole. Inomit swore it hadn't been there before. The fall lasted 30 seconds. He fell into a lit-up body of water in some sort of cave. He climbed out and onto smooth and flat stone floor. A light shone down on a grand piano on an elevated point. There was a strange circular design etched and carved into the floor and walls that included music symbols. Of course, it had to be a piano, didn't it? He walked over and played the following notes. I need 6 million names for the 6 million people I've met in the last 6 decades. You look a little younger than 6 decades. What is your name? I don't have to say anything. A few mannequins started gathering around. What is it? I Inomit. My name is Inomit. No. What? Why? That's not a name, silly. What's your real name? Soon the crowd started chanting. Real name. Real nigh me. I don't know. I don't know my real name. Why? The crowd changed their chant too. Why? Why? Because I'm dreaming. Everyone went silent, dead quiet. You should not have done that, screamed a voice in his head. It almost sounded like, Dexter? The sky grew gloomy and ominous. The mannequins' faces contorted into uncanny wide grins, and their eyes sank into their skulls, leaving just darkness in their place. They all started acting up and going crazy all over the place, twisting their bodies into inhuman positions. Inomit was almost in insanity's grasp. He heard another voice in his head. It was softer and more feminine. Jeremy, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry. He recognized the voice. Jeremy Hinton. This is his name. He whispered the simple phrase. You have no power here. He was now in a black tunnel. He could see a light at the end. He walked through it slowly. As he was nearing the light, he heard the same voice say, I shouldn't have told you to take that stupid pill. Now I don't know if you'll wake up. Ever. He stepped into the light. He was now in a blank void. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them next, he woke up. He was lying in a hospital bed with the source of the voice next to him. Cassie, Incognitohazard by Sib0i, DINO&CreepY.